Hi, I'm calling to see if you're interested in some document management services. We are your competitors. We sell the same thing. Oh, so you're not interested? Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist podcast. I'm your host, Donald Kelly, the Sales Evangelist, and I'm so excited for another great day. I'm so excited to be here with you on this wonderful Monday morning. We are out here hustling. Every day we're hustling. I love Mondays. Do you love Mondays? If you don't love Mondays, give me a call and I'll talk to you. We're going to love Mondays. Mondays gets me excited the first day of the week to go out and hustle, to get everything that I have planned in place and to see some success. 5 days to go and kick it, and I'm ready. So, hey, I am so excited for this episode today. You heard in the teaser there what this is about. I will tell you the story about that in just 1 second. But before that, as always, I got to give some shout outs. Want to give a big shout out this week to Pashelle. Congratulations, all the great things you guys are doing with your organization. I know you guys are hustling really hard with your video production and you've seen some great success. So congratulations on that and enjoy the nice weather up there in Philly at this time of the year. Also want to give a big shout out to Matthew. Thank you for joining the Sales Evangelizers. Excited to learn about you and what you guys are doing over there and some of the success you guys are seeing. And if you are listening to this, you've not reached out to us before, you're listening to the show for some time, you want to connect with me, just do it. Just go on to Facebook, look up our private Facebook group. I'll let you do it. It's the Sales Evangelizers. It's where sellers, hustlers, entrepreneurs like you and me get together. We share thoughts and insight, ask questions, discuss things, learn, grow, and just, build strategic alliance. We have fun. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn, Donald C. Kelly. You can connect with me on Twitter, Donald C. Kelly. You can also find our Facebook page, the Sales Evangelist, and that's where I post some motivational stuff. We post pictures behind the scene, what we're doing back here, some of the things that's going on, and you can connect with us there. You can also send me an email. That's very simple. It's donald@thesalesevangelist.com. All in all, love to connect with you and love to hear from you. Want to help you go out and do big things. But as we go into this episode talking about some big things, I want to speak about this story at the beginning, at the top of the hour. At the beginning of the episode, I shared that little teaser there. When I first started off selling, it was one of the stupidest things in the world, but don't laugh at me. I can laugh at myself. But Let's back up a little bit. A week ago, I started a thread in the Sales Evangelizers on Facebook. You can check it out, and I'll link back to it in the show notes of this episode. This is the Sales Evangelist, episode 194. Sales Evangelist, episode 194. We asked the question, should you do research before you make calls or not? And I would say the overall consensus, probably from 80% of the people in the discussion, was that you should do some research before you call, whether it's 5 minutes before or whatnot, whatever it is. And I'm not going to give you a hard, fast number on a set time period on my thoughts. I'm going to share some thoughts today, but the principle is the same. And we'll get to that. But so it was a really interesting discussion. People shared, you should do it. Some people share, I don't do it. And some people shared, this is a reason why, and tied back to other episodes. It was really cool to see this and to hear it. Let me tell you my story. I was a sales rep for this company, and the philosophy of the organization was just kind of churn and burn. It was like just the numbers. And I understand to some magnitude in sales, you got to have some numbers there. But I feel there's a scientific and artistic way of doing that very methodically, and where you can find a better result. And the concept was, very old school. You just get on the phone and you dial for dollars. And I do agree with cold calling effectively. And I've done courses on that, and I've shared thoughts and insights, but I feel that it has to be effective in order to see the best results, not that it's the only way to generate results. And that can go back to a whole different episode. But the concept, though, we were given this list and was told to just go ahead and call. They did some research, quote unquote, and pulled a list of companies that we should call. And we just sat there, and our job was to burn through that list, baby. Just sit there and dial for dollars. Go down to the knuckles, just keep dialing. And one of the accounts that I called into, I did nothing to research them. I had the computer right in front of me. I just picked up the phone, dialed the number, and started chatting. And lo and behold, it wasn't exactly how I did it in a teaser, but it was about 80% accurate. The person on the other end, they listened to me, and then they said, we do the same exact thing. We We sell document management software as well. And they were a competitor. And it was so embarrassing. I had nothing to say after that. I had nothing to offer. And I'm sure they were, after they got off the call, they were just like cracking up about it. I mean, it didn't stop me from continuing going and being, working hard and getting success. You can't let something stop you. But the point is the same though. How prepared are you for conversations? And could the preparation you put into a call make the call a little bit more effective? Could you save some time? Could I have saved some time in that little embarrassment there? Of course I could have. But, it's in the past. You learn and you grow from it. And the principle that I like to share is that the more prepared you are, the better off you'll be of being able to be effective with that call. Now, I'm not saying you need to go down and do some, hardcore 5-day analysis and research and stock check and all of this information. No, but what I feel though, the principle is that the more you know, the better off you'll be to better articulate your value to this prospect. The more you know, meaning not like about, their company logo and the colors of their billboards and stuff like that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about their needs. If you are able to look at your ideal customer, recognize the challenges that you've solved for them, you probably have several challenges that you are really good at solving, right? With those challenges, you can then be able to create qualifying questions or things, triggers, so to speak, that when you're prospecting, you can look for. And that's what you need to do in your research, is to see is this person someone that could potentially be an ideal customer for me? If they're a competitor, they're probably not. So in my case, I learned that really quick. But you can definitely do that. Have like 3 or 4 points. And these are my thoughts I will share with it. The principle, again, the better prepared you are, the more effective you can be in being able to articulate your value. So if I understand those challenges and those pains that my customers are going through, my ideal customers have been going through and that I solve, I can then look for that and I can articulate a message around that to these prospects. If I can recognize through some of my research, whether that's through their company website or whether that's through their, good old-fashioned Google or through their social media or through articles that I find, then I can better articulate my message of value. I find out who's the ideal person to speak within the organization. I mean, you can even call into your salespeople. We talked about this on the episode a couple times, and one of my guests recently mentioned it. You can call into their salespeople because salespeople will tell you everything. And you can learn from them who are some of the decision makers and some of the key people to speak to about some things like this that you're offering. Salespeople want to help each other for the most part. So you can definitely use that approach, and you can do something like that. But the more you know, you can go on LinkedIn, just spend a few minutes, even before you went on a call. If I did that before I went on that call, I could see that they sell similar thing, and I wouldn't have gone through that process. Now, what I'm getting at there too is that you're not going to need to spend all day, as I mentioned earlier, going and doing research, especially doing prime time. I feel that game time when you're out selling is selling time. You can't waste all day doing that. But with me, here's a thought. There's a book called The Ultimate Sales Machine by Chet Holmes, and the late Chet Holmes. He passed away several years ago. And one of the things that Chet brought up in his book was the idea of getting a dream list. So based on the qualifiers, could you put together a dream list of the top 100 companies that you want to get into? If you were to get into these top 100 companies, how could that help your business? And then you do a relentless focus on them so you can do some research after hours. Look at the ideals that you need to find, those triggers or the qualifiers. And then if they fall in place with that, that's your baby there, that 100 prospect. You focus on them, do everything you can, shy of becoming obsessed, to make sure that you can help them see the value in what you have to offer, whether that's through social selling, whether that's through sending things in the traditional mail, to put yourself different. You need to think of whatever ways you can do to get in front of them and to express that value. For me, the more I know, the more I understand their challenge, the more I know about how they make money and how I can help them make money or reduce the expenses that they have, the better off I am to articulate the value over that call. So whatever that means for you, whether you're selling houses or you're selling cars, you're selling to, knives door to door, whatever that means, I think the most important thing for you to understand is the more you can know about your prospect's challenge, the more you can understand their specific challenge, not just a general challenge, the better off you'll be to articulate value. So take that, run with it, Whatever that means as far as your research, that's what I want to get across as a principle today. I really hope that makes sense. Again, I'm not telling you that you should spend 3 hours or 5 hours or 5 minutes or whatever, but I really feel the more prepared you are in understanding the prospect's challenge, the better off you'll be to articulate value. In the sense, value will differ based on prospect's challenge. I mean, some people idea for value it's not the same. It's just not the same all the way across the board. So the better off you have of doing that. I mean, do I think that you can just get a list of some potentially ideal and just blast through that? I mean, as a new rep, that's great because you get practice, you get some rejections, and you get the no's, and it's okay for you to break in. I mean, I don't want you to feel that you shouldn't. You're not going to get a no even with a list of top 100 companies or prospects. You're going to get no's. You're going to get the rejection, and it's good to practice your message. I mean, sometimes on weaker deals that maybe a long shot. Hey, what does it hurt? Do the call into the account so you can practice your messaging and practice what you're going to say. But what's the worst that's going to happen? You call into a competitor. So, all that gives you learning. For me, though, being effective is a big thing for me, being methodical in what I'm doing and to just making sure that I am using my time wisely. So take that for what it's worth. One more last thing. Several weeks ago, I had an episode with my wife and we chat about this, and she had someone call in, and it was embarrassing for him, and it was also it was a waste of her time because this guy was already looking. I mean, this guy was already a vendor, but he was still calling into her company. I mean, again, simple little things like that you can do more research, simple research on, and make sure that you're effective when you're calling into your customers. And for them, when they do B2B, looking for vendors, they do research. I mean, my wife's company, and the same thing with many other companies, they do research. If most salespeople are not doing research before they call in or not doing any type of preparation before they make a call, they're all sounding the same. The more prepared you are, the better you can articulate value to them. Hey, the more different you're going to be. And in order to be successful, do the opposite of what everyone else is doing. Take that for what it's worth, run with it. This is Monday. This is the Sales Evangelist. I want you to be happy. I want you to find success. But most importantly, I want you to go out and do big things.